Good morning. This is the day of days. I think we've all been transformed, alchemized, reset, refreshed by the eclipse yesterday. And however you understand that eclipse to mean to you, it's a personal thing, it's an individual thing. It's a I was told that it represents a brand new slate, a new life begins for us as of right now. We take about 21,000 breaths in a day, inhales and exhales. And you would think that out of many of those that we would be receiving, right, directly from source, everything we need because we are special needs. And our most special need is the presence of God, right? It's an understanding of that we are that, Tat Vamasi. We are all that God is. We are exactly God presence, 100%. So isn't this a beautiful start to a beautiful new life, to a new beginning for all of us? I'm so happy for us. So I have a song or two to start with this morning, just to kind of remind us that there's only one reality. I mean, I can kind of just read the last verse that we looked at last week. I think it was 43, where we're talking about from those who do not, Yogananda's commentary to that verse, those who do not seek the Lord for himself, the ultimate truth, but remain satisfied with his untruth, the unreal, because transitory worlds, anything that is fleeting, anything that is manifested is not real. That God is a jealous God and turns away jealously, brooking no flaw, though, in the devotee's right perception of him. So, however we look on the Lord has one way to look on us, and that is with infinite, unconditional, unceasing, unbelievable love, right? And joy and happiness. So, the man or woman who knows that God is without peer, will worship none but him or her. No secondary objective will serve. His goal is the primal unique. So Yogananda said this in one of his poems. He said, when I smile, love smiles through me. When I cry, love weeps. When I stumble, love is sure. And when I die, love is my life. When I smile, love smiles through me. When I cry, love weeps. When I stumble, love is sure. And when I walk, love is walking me. Oh, loving. And then I added these words. Loving presence is all around us. Loving presence is our love boat. So jump right on. Let's sail away. Because loving presence is our love boat. And then, so we all on the love boat this morning? Are we? Are we all on the same page? There's only the one. We call this stream undivided devotion to the one, and that means that in the yoga practice, meaning that we are about union of our soul with spirit. That's what yoga means, is union with spirit. That in that practice we commingle all our thoughts into one divine perception. We commingle all our thoughts, all our emotions, all our desires into one divine perception. And that is at this moment, in this breath, in my heart, with my beloved. Wow, what a simple formula. And how powerful is that? So, one more song. This is from our buddy Hafiz. I'm so full. of love today. Come look into these ancient eyes. I'm so full of love today. Come look into these ancient eyes. And let's go off sailing, sailing, my dear, on a long ocean ride. Let's go off sailing, sailing, my love, with our spirits intertwined. This world can never touch you. I'll keep you snug upon my seat. This world can never touch you, 'cause I will keep you snug upon my seat. Best seat in the house. In this house of dreams and illusions, right? The best seat is to be snug upon that seat of God presence, one divine perception, right? There's no peer to consider here. There's just the one, and we honor the one, we love the one, we practice merging with the one, and the one becomes the many, and the many become the one. All right. So let's go back there and honor these words of Hafiz. So let's go off sailing, sailing, my dear, on a long ocean ride. Let's go off sailing, sailing, my dear, on a long, long ocean ride. This world can never touch us. He'll keep us snug upon his seat. This world can never touch us. He will keep us snug upon his seat, the seat of the spiritual eye, the seat of the crown chakra, the seat of divinity that we all are 100%. And there's no question about that. Although you can question it, but it's easier to surrender to it and just enjoy this presence right here in this breath, one of the 21,000 that you'll be taking today, right? Surely there could be a dozen or more that are really, really quality in this moment, in this breath in my heart with you, my beloved, right? And we give it our all undivided devotion and just one divine perception. That's all we're looking for. That is the only experience we seek, right? There's none that compare to having this longing and this devotion for union with the one. All right. So we're going to end chapter 11 today. How does that feel? Yay! Right? We're going to end chapter 11 and move into this Bhakti Yoga chapter. Bhakti Yoga, union through devotion. How's that? That's what's coming up. But first, Arjuna ain't done yet. He ain't done, after the vision of visions, he had to kind of really process it for a while. And his whole thing was, oh my God, I had no idea that God is the way that God is. I just kind of thought, whoever this charioteer is, this Lord Krishna, he certainly was a beaming, kind of uplifted, amazing consciousness, and but I had no idea that there was so much, glory in him, in his Lord of creation, Ishvara state, and terror at the same time. So he's got a few more questions to ask Krishna right here, all right, or his spilling out of his heart, what's really in his heart now. So we are on page 834 and verses 44 all the way to 55, and then we end this chapter 11. Okay, but this is how we can be too. kind of getting used to physical form, getting used to physical sensations, getting used to the way humans think and go about things, and defending what's right, what we think is right, and making wrong what is we think is wrong, and on and on. But really, there is just one divine perception to work on. There is only one, devotion, just single-hearted, single-minded devotion to practice. So, verse 44, therefore, O adorable one, Arjuna to Krishna, who we just saw as the Ishvara, Lord manifested in every single detail of this physical creation. Therefore, O adorable one, I cast myself in obeisance at thy feet to implore thy pardon. When we really wake up, folks, you know, we'll be having thoughts like this and giving it to our the one beloved. We'll go, I can't believe how distracted I was. I can't believe how insensible I was, to your presence in everything and everyone, everywhere, all the time. And I was just blind to it. So I cast myself in obeisance, I think it's called, at thy feet to implore thy pardon, as a father to a son, as a friend to a close friend, as a lover to his beloved. Do thou, O Lord, forgive me. What a plea, huh? Forgive me for all my indifference. Forgive me for all my fixations, but not on fixing my whole being on the oneness with you, O Spirit. But please forgive me. Verse 45, overjoyed am I at having gazed upon a vision never seen before. Yet my mind is not free from terror. Be merciful to me, O Lord of gods, O shelter of the world. Show to me only thy Deva form as the benign Vishnu. Krishna is also known as having, the guise of Vishnu, the preserver, right? Also another facet of Lord Krishna as the all in all, right? As God is all, the all in all. Verse 46, I long to see thee as before, as the four-armed Vishnu, diademed and holding thy mace and discus, as often is portrayed in paintings of Lord Vishnu and as Krishna, as diademed and holding thy mace and discus, reappear in that same form. Here, he's wanting this. He just wants the familiar. He just wants the certainty of the familiar, right? Isn't that so human? It's so human. I just, I just need the form just to remind me that to to remind me that I'm in a body in a physical world, right? Or one thing, and completely forgetful of source, and I have some focusing to do to have just one divine perception. Reappear in that same form, diademed and holding thy mace and discus, O Krishna. Reappear in that same form, O thou who art thousand-armed and universe-bodied. It's got to be just absolutely a trip, right? To have a vision like that, and then to wish that it wasn't, it didn't happen, that it didn't happen, and he just wants to see that friend, like a friend to a friend, a father to a son, and a lover to a beloved. Oh, I just want to feel that familiarity with something that at least is not invisible, intangible, and so hard to perceive, right? And so hard to realize. The blessed Lord said this is what Krishna said, I have graciously exercised mine own yoga power. Graciously exercise my own yoga power to reveal to thee, O Arjuna, and to none other, this supreme primeval form of mine, this supreme primeval form of mine, the radiant and infinite cosmos. I've graciously exercised my own yoga power to reveal this to you, O Arjuna. Verse 48, no mortal man or woman, save only thyself, O great hero of the Kurus. Those are the sense soldiers, right? O great hero of one who conquers the sense tendencies, right? And transmutes that energy into what? More devotion. That's what we do as yogis. We're transmuting and commingling all our thoughts and all our desires into one thing, more devotion, so that we can have one divine perception, okay? That's actually going to be some words coming right up in one of these verses. No mortal man, save only thyself, O great hero of the Kurus, is able to look upon my universal shape, not by sacrifices or charity or works or vigorous austerities or study of the Vedas is that vision attainable. Verse 49, be not affrighted or stupefied at seeing my terrible aspect. Let it be. Don't be terrified by it, Arjuna. With dreads removed. So finally, all this dread and concern about how I couldn't take it. I can't take this thing called where form just disappears into nothingness, right? When here I am in a form, right? Talking to one who I thought just was a form. I forgot that he's formless. And he is both the light, he's both the dark, he's both the good, and he's both the bad, right? He's everything in this duality, which makes it now a little easier to have one focus, isn't it? One divine purpose, everyone, right? That God is everything in disguise, everything, good, bad, ugly, you name it. It is beloved. It is the one spirit heart beloved. Be not affrighted or stupefied at seeing my terrible aspect, with dreads removed. So all Arjuna's dreads are now removed. May yours be removed too. All your dread, all your terror, all that you're worried about, all your anxiety, all your frustrations, all your plans and scams, right? With dreads removed and heart rejoicing. Finally, Arjuna feeling some real joy right now. He's got his buddy back. Oh my God. He's got his friend back. He's got his beloved back. With dreads removed and heart rejoicing, behold, once more my familiar form. How cool is that? How cool is that? Right? Verse 50, Sanjaya now, that is who is the watcher, the witness, the sole witness, Sanjaya, or introspection, said to the blind king, because this is all being related to the blind king. This whole story is being related to that's why it said in the beginning, how did they? Not like, how are they doing? How did they? It's like, let me hear the story. This is the after the fact. This is the relating of the story of the battle of the Kurus, the not so good guys, with the Pandus, the good guys. So verse 50 is, after speaking thus, Vasudeva, the Lord of the world, or Krishna, or Vishnu, resumed his own shape as Krishna. He, the great souled one, appearing to Arjuna in the form of grace, consoled his fear-stricken disciple or devotee. He started, the great souled one appearing to Arjuna in the form of grace. He could take any form. Consoled his fear-stricken devotee. Verse 51, O granter of all wishes, Krishna, Arjuna said. O granter of all wishes, wish fulfiller, right? Remember that? O granter of all wishes, Krishna, as I gaze on thee again in gentle human shape. Oh, just give me the familiar, Lord. Just give me the familiar. So many people are afraid of what they don't know. And yet that is the most beautiful thing, to have the not knowing, because that's what spurs the soul for the effort it needs to enroll in you and inspire in you, and to help awaken in you this need for union with the Spirit, the one who smiles through you, cries through you, walks you, picks you up when you stumble, When you wake in the morning, it greets you, right? And it just wants to take you on a long, long ocean ride and keep you snug upon the seat of God realization, of that one divine perception. That's all it wants, is to keep you snug upon the seat of that one divine perception. O granter of all wishes, Krishna, as I gaze on thee again in gentle human shape, my mind is quieted and I feel more like my natural self. I'm a man, yes I am, and I don't know, right? Or I'm a natural woman. But this is not just the natural. Let's just do uh, our sensory exploration into this world. Let's dive into the soul. Let's dive into this divine perception. That's what he means. I feel more like my natural self, who loves you in this form, who loves you in this form. The blessed Lord said in verse 52, very difficult it is to behold as thou hast done the vision universal, Arjuna. Even the gods ever yearn to see it. Verse 53, 54, rolling along this morning on this long, long ocean ride with our spirits intertwined. What a day. What a life. What a morning. So 53 to 54 on page 835, but it is not unveiled through one's penance or scriptural lore or gift giving or formal worship. O scorcher of sense foes, Arjuna. O scorcher of the sense foes. Only by undivided devotion, the title of this morning's stream, only by undivided devotion, commingling by yoga all thoughts in the one divine perception. I've been repeating that this morning, haven't I? But this is the commentary by Yogananda about this verse 53 and 54. Only by undivided devotion, commingling by yoga all thoughts. Just let your thoughts commingle with the truth. Let everything just be the truth. Well, why do we have to pretend that we are following the untruth, or we're still talking about the untruth? We're still curious about that untruth, right? We don't want to look into that Pandora's box. You want to shut it and then look into your soul self. Look into the light of your spiritual eye. Look into the mirror, the flawless mirror. I am thou. I am you, beloved. You are me. We are one. So only by undivided devotion, commingling by yoga all thoughts in one divine perception, may I be seen as thou hast beheld me in my cosmic form, and recognized in reality, and finally embraced in the oneness. All right? Hey, this is good for the soul. This is good for your life force. This is good for your constant mind thinking, thoughts about this and that. This is really good for the transition between being human to being a divine being, being a soul awakened, right? So finally, verse 55, the final verse of this chapter 11. He or she, says Krishna, who works for me alone. You have one boss, You only have one go-to person. You have one employer, one. You don't have, it's not the wifey or the or the or the guy in the family that is the boss of everything. No, it's you work for the one. You serve the one. He who works for me alone, who makes me his and her goal, who lovingly surrenders herself or himself to me, who is non-attached to my delusive cosmic dream worlds, who bears ill will toward none, beholding me in all, he enters my being, O Arjuna. Wow. Can I read that once more? Can you assimilate it, digest it, metabolize it, convert it into a shining, crystallize it, right? A crystal, a beautiful crystal of your own kind of alchemy. You manifesting a beautiful crystal of realization here, can you? I'll read the verse again. He or she who works for me alone, who makes me his and her goal, who lovingly surrenders herself and himself to me, who is not attached to my delusive cosmic dream worlds. Then you might think, well, Lord, why did you make these dream worlds? Why did you make the delusion? I mean, do we had to go through all that? Right? Do we have to go through all this? Oh, yeah. Because what the prize at the end of the rainbow, the pot at the end of the rainbow, and once you perceive that, once you have realized who you really are and whose you are, you won't be complaining about me making the delusion. I promise you that. So who is not attached to my delusive cosmic dream worlds and who bears ill will toward none, beholding me in all and everything, everyone, everywhere, he and she enters my being, O Arjuna. So Om Tat Sat to verse 11. I mean the chapter 11, verse 55. Om Tat Sat, in the Upanishad of the Holy Bhagavad Gita, the discourse of Lord Krishna to Arjuna, which is the scripture of yoga and the science of God realization. This is the 11th chapter called the vision of the cosmic form. And before we go to chapter 12 and introduce chapter 12 to you, let's just call Bhakti Yoga Union Through Devotion. There's 3 subtitles. Should the yogi worship the unmanifest or the personal God? Number 2, the levels of spiritual practice and the stages of realization. And number 3, qualities of the devotee endearing to God. All right. So I want to read something. Since these moments are so important and your immortality is even more important, to know who you are, who you truly are, and whose you truly are. Well, let's start first with this daily download of divinity called Immortality that I wrote some years ago. When it is all said and done, you, the personality, you, the body, and you, the plans, and you, the desires, are done too. When it's all said and done, you, as a personality, body, plans, and desires, are done too. Finito caput. Off your spirit goes into the wild blue yonder. Let's go off sailing, my love, on a long, long ocean ride. So off your spirit goes, your spirit intertwined with mine, says the maker of you and me. Off your spirit goes into the wild blue yonder, shepherded by a loving presence. Loving presence is all around us. Loving presence is our love boat. So jump right on. Let's sail away. Loving presence is our love boat. Off your spirit goes into the wild blue yonder, shepherded by a loving presence you wish you got to know better, instead of buddying up in a dysfunctional relationship with your personality, body, plans, and desires, right? We don't want any regrets. We want to say, no, we spent our quality moments dreaming of this soul reunion with the infinite spirit. If the personality, body, plans, and desires were so important, the universe wouldn't so rudely and abruptly dismantle them from you at death. If this earth show was so important, so worth every bit of your energy, right? Every bit of your trauma and drama and your tears and your excitements and your blames and shames and feeling really rotten, possibly at the end of many days, right? If that was the case, that would be the real deal, but it ain't. It's so rudely and abruptly dismantled, we all are, from all of that at death. If you're having a hard time trusting and cooperating with your higher power about this, it might be best to take a healthy portion of quality time each day and muse on your immortality. There's good news and more good news about that. You want to hear it? Immortality teaches you not to take today, this incarnation, details, possessions, family, and jobs so dead seriously. Don't forget that mortal life is a dead end. You'll be dead in the end. All right? Immortality teaches you to be seriously detached from all of the above. Have just a few things packed and at a moment's notice be ready to depart this world. All yours, Lord. Always have been, always will be. That's my vow to you. As the Buddha took that vow beneath the banyan bough, on sacred seat I vow, until life's mysteries I solve, until I obtain the priceless lore. Though bones and fleeting flesh dissolve, I'll leave this posture nevermore. Is a quote from Lord Buddha when he decided, I'm going home. I'm going on a long, long ocean ride with my one true love. From their seat in the inner worlds, they have a bird's eye view. Oh, the holy ones got holy because of their tremendous love of spirit and serious detachment from all things mortal. That's how they got holy. From their tremendous love of spirit and serious detachment from all things mortal. You all in? From their seat in the inner worlds, they have a bird's eye view of the goings on in this realm and are rooting like crazy for you to pull out of your human slump and wake up to your glorious immortal nature. Christ is the greatest good cheerleader of all. His life teaches an abject lesson. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but mortality can never hurt you. All right? That's good. You are a soul. You are already living in immortality. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but mortality can never hurt you. You're already living in immortality. You are a soul baby living forevermore. You are with Christ always. Since the beginning of time, he has loved you. Love him back unceasingly. So you too can be the way, the truth, and the life. Go to him now. He is your elder brother. Be like a little child, and you will see that heaven consists of the pure heart. There is nothing ever to fear. All this love, all this joy, all this light and glory of God, now and forevermore. A brother in Christ. I wrote this around Easter time. Yogi Tom. Happy Holy Week. All right. So this is something I pulled up from the internet. What else is new? Every minute, every minute. So we're working at every moment, right? Every moment to be on, to have one divine perception. Every moment to care only about one thing, our undivided devotion to the one who is this and that, and me and you, and that bit of news and everything, right? Whatever comes down today in this physical creation is all spirit. So we can take every moment now and just say, it's you, beloved. It's you, beloved. I have no fear, for your light is here. So this was what someone put up there, and I like this. Every minute someone leaves this world behind. We are all in the line without knowing it. We never know how many people are before us. We cannot move to the back of the line. We cannot step out of the line. We cannot avoid the line. So while we wait in line for that final transition, right? So while we wait in line, make moments count. Make priorities. Make the time. Make your gifts known. Make a nobody feel like a somebody. Make your voice heard. Make the small things big. Make someone smile. Make the change. Make divine love. Make up. Make peace. Make sure to tell your people they are loved. Make sure to have no regrets. Make sure you are ready. Yes, we're ready. Yes, we're ready for love. Are you ready? Yes, we're ready. Yes, we're ready to love. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Yes, we're ready. Yes, we're ready. for chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga Union through Devotion. And right here in the bottom part of this intro page to chapter 12, there's a beautiful thought from Paramahansa Yogananda. Dearest to God, inseparable from him, are those yogis and yoginis who with total devoted concentration, the dearest to the most dear, inseparable from him or him and her. And those yogis who with total devoted concentration, devoted, that means it's from the heart, it's for the one and only one. Devoted concentration, keep their souls united to the all-sheltering, undying spirit beyond creation, the immutable absolute, devoid of all delusive imaging, while these devoted ones that concentrate undeviatingly, keeping their souls united to the all-sheltering, undying spirit beyond creation, the immutable absolute, devoid of all delusive imaging, while worshipfully engaged in living and manifesting. So they're grounded, they're here and now, be here now, right? They're here and now. They are in this moment, making the most of this moment, engaged in living and manifesting the eternal, immortalizing principles of God union. Wow. The principles of God union. Have you ever thought of it that way? The principles of God union, right? There's principles to follow. All we need to do, principle-centered living, was Stephen Covey's whole thing. And if you're ever in doubt about something, find the spiritual principle, the immutable spiritual principles that are eternal. They're not full of flux and change. And the duality, dream delusions and illusions, they are just immutable principles. And if we follow them and tune in with them, we're going to be grace and ease for the rest of our days. Such yogis who are engaged in living and manifesting the eternal, immortalizing principles of God union, such yogis remain as one with God, embraced in his bosom of transcendental bliss. Don't you love the Gita? Don't you love today? Don't you love your beingness today? Don't you love exactly that you are everything right now? No questions asked. No examinations to take, no exams, right? You don't have to uh, make up some fib about why you are this way or that way. God isn't interested in any of that. He just cares about one thing. Are you interested in him right now? Right? Are you commingling all your thoughts through the practice of yoga as you practice it, and your devotion as you practice it, so that there's just one burning desire for that divine perception right here, perceiving that within me, within you, within the squad here. Yeah, the love squad, right? So that takes us over to the actual beginning of bhakti yoga, union through devotion. Should the yogi worship the unmanifest or a personal God? How is everybody doing already this morning? Huh? How are we doing? How are we doing? Do you know something here that Ananda Moima wrote? How simple is this quote? Take this one on. Wear it today. Wear this truth today. If the breath and the mind become one pointed, the breath and the mind, that's two things. That's only two things. The breath and the mind. Your breath in this moment and your awareness in this moment. If the breath and the mind become one pointed, so one divine perception, right? One purpose, one goal, one yearning, one love. If the breath and the mind become one pointed and steady, then the mind expands to infinity. Then the mind expands to infinity when the mind and the breath are one pointed on the one divine perception, or we can say on the one. Comes down to it. There's just the one, right? You've just had the vision of visions. You've just you just now have poured your heart out to God in the way that you love God, know God, understand God to be, whatever words you use, right? And you pretty much said, hey, I just want to be familiar with you in a way that isn't like a human familiarity that breeds contempt. But I just want to know you, Lord, as I want to know you, right? Because everyone is individual. We all will get exactly what we focus on. We'll get what we're worshiping about. We'll get what we're thinking about. We'll get what we're loving about, right? It's coming to us. It's here. Not just coming to us, it's been here. And the awakening is coming to us every single day that we take a day and realize I'm ready. I'm ready to love. And I'm ready to just have this single-hearted, single-minded, one purpose focus so that I can expand into infinity my mind. So I could have an Arjuna mind, right? I can have a divine mind, right? Look at all this that we have to look forward to, everybody, right? Isn't that something? You ready for verse 1? Arjuna said, those devotees who, ever steadfast, thus worship thee, and those who adore the indestructible, the unmanifested, which of these is better versed in yoga? So those devotees who are like the tortoise, right? Just ever steadfast, steady as we go, in their own little silent way that they worship thee, or those who adore the indestructible, the unmanifested, that is beyond the scope of our imagination even, right? Which of these is better versed in yoga? Yogananda comments and says, here Arjuna refers to the devotee described in the last stanza of the 11th chapter, he who thinks of God as the cosmic bodied Lord, immanent in all manifestations, and who therefore works for him without personal attachment to anything, without feeling enmity to anyone, enshrining God as his supreme goal. So that's one, refers to the devotee in the last stanza of 11th chapter. We just read that one. And that person is one who thinks of God as the cosmic bodied Lord. We just did the vision of vision. So you had all those amazing, glorious things, and then those horrendous, scary terror things about, this totally final consummation, or this final, thing called death or transition happening to everything that is created. Shiva, the destroyer, right? So he or she who thinks of God as the cosmic bodied Lord, immanent in all manifestations, and who therefore works for him, we just talked about working for him as our number one, only employer, really, the only one that we serve, has no peers. It has no peers, it's beyond them. Without personal attachment, who therefore works for God without personal attachment to anything, without feeling enmity to anyone, not making anyone wrong, enshrining God as his supreme goal. That's one type. Not bad choice to make, that type of yogi or yogini, right? Who thinks of God as the cosmic bodied Lord, the one in every little springtime, and then the bugs that come out in the summer around here in Georgia, and where probably where you are. who thinks of God as that cosmic body, Lord immanent in all the manifestations in this creation, who therefore works for him without personal attachment to anything, without feeling enmity to anyone, enshrining God as his supreme goal, and to the devotee, and then to this type of devotee who worships God as formless or unmanifested spirit, considering God and nature as two separate entities. So we're keeping out of the picture of God manifested as the Ishvara in creation, considering God and nature as two separate entities. There's the God beyond, and then there's the God within creation, right? But they're separate. They're not merged. Which devotee is better acquainted with the technique of uniting soul and spirit? That was Yogananda's little commentary to this verse 1. Which which devotee? Which devotee is better, Arjuna? I mean Krishna. The one who's steadfast, tortoise, doing its daily thing, familiar with the routine, familiar with the God that they worship, right? Everything is cool. There's no anxiety. And those who adore the indestructible, the unmanifest, the unthinkable, the unknowable, the transcendental, absolute, unmanifested spirit. Which of these is better versed in yoga? So, verse 2, the Blessed Lord says this. Are you right on the edge of your seat? Are you? Can't wait to hear what the Lord says. Which one is better? Which one would you say is the better at yoga? The better yogi and yogini? The one that is worshiping the God in creation, or the one who's worshiping exclusively the one beyond, the transcendental absolute? Which one? Which one would you guess? Yogananda's commentary should give us the answer. The yogi described in the last stanza of the 11th chapter, and again in this stanza, is better versed in the processes and yoga techniques that lead to God union. He comes right out and says it. So he who is described in the last stanza of that verse 55, page 835, verse 55, the last stanza, and that goes like this: He who works for me alone. Does this sound like familiar what we just described? Who makes me his goal, who lovingly surrenders himself to me, who is not attached to my delusive cosmic dream worlds, who bears ill will toward none, beholding me and all. He enters my being, O Arjuna. So Yogananda here says, what did he say? Right? Which devotee is acquainted with the technique of uniting soul and spirit? Which one is better? That one that was described at the end of that one I just read, or the one who's just about the transcendental absolute? The yogi described in the last stanza of the 11th chapter, which I just read, and again in this stanza, is better versed in the processes and yoga techniques that lead to God union than is the devotee described in the 3rd and 4th verses of this chapter, he who concentrates on the realization of imperishable, unmanifested spirit. That he's just better versed is the one that it processes and that versed in the processes and yoga techniques that lead to God union in it all, and not only in the world of flux of this physical transition, but also that the other one, the unconditional, absolute, transcendental. He who concentrates on the realization of imperishable, unmanifest spirit. And Yogananda says, ultimately, both kinds of devotees attain the same cosmic spirit. Ultimately, both are perfect. One's a little easier, though, we're going to find out. the one that kind of makes God more personal to us, a little easier. Do we all kind of go along that road, right? I mean, the Divine Mother, a lot of you snuggle up, never leave her hug, right? And all these different aspects of her and the Heavenly Father and his success and joy. Isn't that also something that we can connect with? You know, a father of creation, a mother of creation, right? And then right, and then the Christ and the Krishna. There's so many beautiful things about kind of going the personal way. But either way, you arrive at the same goal, right? Oneness in the cosmic spirit. Yogananda goes on to say all manifestation and activities in creation are the Lord's cosmic yoga. So all in this creation that you can see today with your own physical eyes and pretend that all you're seeing is one divine perception of the one Lord as all these different things. It's all these creatures, great and small, as the sun and the moon, eclipsed or no, right? All of it is still just the one beloved. And we can be snug upon his seat of this awareness. We can. He'll keep us snug upon the seat as we stay entwined with that beloved, as we go for a long, long ocean ride in the ocean of spirit. Wow. With, with that divine union. All manifestations and activities in creation are the Lord's cosmic yoga. It's cosmic yoga going on in our creation today. Cosmic yoga in nature, in Mother Nature, right? Wow. The Lord's cosmic yoga. He is the singularity that evolves as these multi expressions and that unifies them in one cosmic consciousness of his eternal being. So he's evolving, though, all this in Mother Nature. Everything's evolving. Remember that quote from last week? If it doesn't evolve you, don't involve it. Don't get involved with it. If it doesn't evolve you, don't get involved with it, right? So God is a singularity that evolves as these multi-expressions and that unifies them in one cosmic consciousness of his eternal being. Hey, just let this stuff, just let it slip in. Just let it come into your cells, just like you're taking a kind of a energetic kind of a healing here, and it's kind of energetic. It's energetic, it's consciousness, it's all those things, right? And it depends on how you want to believe it and receive it and all that. That will depend on how much you can hold within the grasp of your understanding where you have evolved to today too, right? Where you have evolved to for today anyway. The devotee who recognizes this immanence of God and who follows the prescribed yogic steps to attain full realization of divinity understands how the one became individualized and active in the many. She understands how we become individualized and active in the many, and how, in a scientific way, that dissension from cosmic consciousness may be reversed in oneself into ascension or reunion with spirit. So if we come in and there's just all these folks, how many billions of people on the planet, right? How many in each city and each country and all that kind of stuff? We can reverse the process, my dears. We can reverse everything and go back home in the oneness. Why wait? Why wait? Oh, my soul and spirit. Oh, my soul and spirit. When right now we can meet, when right now we can meet, when right now we can meet, when right now we can meet and melt in and melt in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting, the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. This time to meet in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. Woo! Tis time to meet in the ocean heart of oneness right here, right now. 'Tis time to meet in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. Woo! 'Tis time to meet in the ocean heart of oneness. Oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting. Oh, oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting. So if we're all this many and confused, complicated, you know, traumatized, dramatized kind of person, we can reverse it. We can go back to oneness everlasting. The devotee who advances by means of step-by-step methods, that's yoga, the scientific Raja Yoga, the princely or the kingly yoga, step by step. Those devotees who advance by means of step-by-step methods of yoga is therefore acknowledged by the Lord to be the better versed in the science of the union of soul and spirit. They're just better versed. They're not a better person. There's no person is better than another one. Everybody is a soul that seems to be temporarily in a physical form, right? That seems so real and fleshly, but it's just light. It's just pure consciousness. And the one who acknowledges the Lord to be to do this, that acknowledges that the step-by-step method just might be, and that they can personalize to the nth degree their relationship with the divine, and go step by step, go their pace, do their little thing. They're just better versed in the science of what? What is this a science of? The union of soul with spirit. Why wait, oh soul and spirit, when right now, in this moment, someone leaves this world. So this moment for us, if we're still here in the body, haven't flown the coop, this bird has flown, right? We can still have a moment of moments here right now where our full attention, our undivided devotion is absolutely about one divine perception of you, beloved, right here, right now. Whatever beloved that you want to worship right now, be with right now, to feel the shelter of, to be comforted by. Concentrating on the immanence of God in his primal manifestation as the cosmic O vibration, Holy Ghost, and its creative differentiations in the cosmos and in the microcosm, the microcosm of his own being, not only in creation, but in us. The yogi experiences the primary sapikalpa samadhi the yogi can experience when we're concentrating on the Lord of creation, the Ishvara, and the different differentiations of the Lord in creation, and in the microcosm of our own being. He experiences a primary salpikalpa samadhi, while in a transcendent ecstatic state, however, oblivious of external creation. So now take it the other way. Now you're in that transcendental ecstatic state. You're completely oblivious of the external creation. Can you imagine that? That you're not caring about the news at all today. This would probably be good to practice both, right? Definitely. Because two different perspectives. You could be so transcendent today that it's like an eclipse of the sun, an eclipse of the moon tonight, an eclipse of the power goes out, and this and that. So the world comes to a stop, right? And it's just dead quiet. You're oblivious of the external creation in the transcendental or transcendent ecstatic state. That person perceives God in one of his divine qualities or aspects in form or formless. So you can have God in form or formless state. Ultimately, though, he obtains the highest nirvikalpa, samadhi, in which he experiences with no loss of sensory awareness of his body. So nirvikalpa, there's no loss of sensory awareness of the body. The other one where you kind of blank off, you kind of in a moment you're not aware of the body, you're just kind of in a joy state, right? The salpikalpa, but in the nirvikalpa, you don't have any loss of sensory awareness of your body and surroundings, both the form and formless Lord, immanent in creation, and also you're just totally aware of the form and the formless Lord. Ishvara, the form of the Creator Lord in creation, the ruler of creation. You can see that. Arjuna just saw that, right? And the formless Lord. The absolute beyond creation. The formless absolute. The transcendental absolute beyond creation. You get it both. You get both. You get both. Such a yogi and yogini ever devotedly realizes God in duality. Okay? The good, bad, and the ugly. Have you accepted, embraced, and loved that recently? Have you have not one concern about that something is wrong or broken or you're worried about in this physical creation, whatever detail you're going to focus on today, whatever it may be, right? Are you not too concerned about it? Because you devotedly realize God is the duality. He's everything. He's everything. He's all of this that you're worried about. He's what you're worrying about. And people you're concerned about. He is that person. So do we really need to worry about? What about this? Let it be. Uh-huh. What about it? Such a yogi ever devotedly realizes God in duality as well as in the unity. Thus, by following the scientific steps of yoga, he attains fixity of his mind on God and remains ever united to him. Fixity, fixity, total fixation of your mind on God and remains ever united to him. Rising above all material attachments, as he acquires progressively elevated states of consciousness, he works for God through love and service to all beings. He works for God. There it is, third time or so in this stream. He works for God. He serves with love, non-attached to it all, right? It's just a loving service. He works for God through love and service to all beings. Imagine every being you're in service to, in love with. It is because it's all him. It's all the beloved. It's all one spirit heart beloved. Everywhere, in everyone, everything. He works for God through love and service to all beings, knowing that in them the Lord is manifested. Wow, that in them, in this person that you talked to today, God is, the Lord is manifested as this person. Really? Oh, really? Yeah, spirit and nature dancing together. Victory to spirit, victory to nature. Exactly right. Clark's. He works for God through love and service to all beings, knowing that in them the Lord is manifested. He worships the Lord with supreme, here's 4 good words, supreme single-hearted devotion. He worships the Lord. This is a good one. With supreme single-hearted devotion. Supreme single-hearted devotion, realizing that God is the sole object and goal of life. He is an example of scientific yoga that all divine seekers can follow to reascend to God. That's the end of verse 2 in this new chapter 12, page 840. And we shall conclude with that. And next week, verses 3 and 4 on our new chapter, Bhakti Yoga, Union Through Devotion. All right. Well, you don't have to think about this. That's one thing. Yeah, Benny, huh? Have a beautiful week, Benny, my man. Been thinking about you recently. Thanks for everything that you are. It's magnificent. You and your loved ones, magnificent. And so is everyone's loved ones and everything and everyone. Same thing, man. Yeah. So thank you everybody for coming on. I know now I ran a little bit over, but the joy is there. The joy has arrived. It's come in as a little package from our higher self saying, here, do you want as much as you can handle? I will give it to you today, right? All right. Intuitive divine imagination, says the Clarks. Good job. And Marty says, I'm ready. Yes, she's ready. She's ready to love. And so is Brookie, ready to love. Are you ready? Yes, you're ready. Yes, you're ready to love. Narayan G. Solar Eclipse, welcome to new life. Exactly. So cool. I think that's everybody who came on. Yeah. All right. Big breath. Take your time with that breath. Breathe in, presence of God. And breathe out your sweet surrender to who God keeps saying you are. Amen. Namaste. Much love and much light to y'all.